Welcome to the Leading Lady Lifestyle podcast. This is episode 3, and I have a special guest today. This is my friend Erica. She is an amazing content creator and graphic designer boasting over 15K Instagram followers. Oh, yeah. She is also a vegan fitness enthusiast who will be in her first bikini bodybuilding competition this summer. Please welcome Erica Lee Murray.
Yo!
Woo! Awesome. Erica, tell us about yourself.
Oh gosh. I feel like every single time people ask me that, I'm like,
it's like, where do I start?
Where do I start? I'll pretty much like keep it short, sweet, and to the point. I was a purposeful My dad didn't want any kids, and my mom was lonely, so she stopped taking her birth control, and then I popped out. So I'm a mixed breed. My mom is Filipino, my dad is African American. He was in the military, and yeah, pretty much was born and raised in Tucson, Arizona, and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired over there because it has small town vibes.
Yeah.
So when something were to happen, people would just kind of fan the flames because it's probably the most exciting thing to happen.
Is it
in
that
Tucson.
small of a town where people know your business?
Listen, they make it your business.
Oh.
Theirs. So I'm like, I hope that made sense. I need coffee. But they make it a point to make your business theirs. So they'll finagle their way in and try to fan the flames.
Interesting.
And I was in a high school relationship that lasted up to 7 years.
Wow.
And he was going to propose, and literally the ring was on the way. And then I found out, and I told him, no, I'm not getting married to you, because I felt that it was a strong sense of control, and that didn't sit well with me.
Right.
Like, I was creeping up on 165 pounds.
What? You?
Oh yeah.
I would
Creeping
never have
up.
guessed.
I was working in a Starbucks within a Target, and it was kind of like a black hole crab effect kind of thing. So some people were okay with getting like a 5-cent raise. And
Is that a thing?
That was a thing back then. Wow. It was like 5-15. You'd be lucky if you got like 25 cents to 50 cents for a raise. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. But people have been there for 10 plus years, and they're like, oh, well, it comes with benefits. I'm like, this cannot be my life. So one day when I was working, I ripped my size 14 khaki pants. And I tried to grab another 14, and it wouldn't get past my hips.
No way.
And so I'm just looking in the mirror, and I'm like, there's no way that I have to get a size 16 pair of pants. So looking at the partner that I had at the time, he was fanning the flames of me self-sabotaging myself because he wanted me to be the stay-at-home girlfriend, wife, mother, everything. So you want me to be insecure about myself so that you can be secure that I won't go anywhere.
Right.
You want me to be in a cave. That didn't sit well, so I was just like, you know what? This is not working out. I love you, but this is not working. And he himself even wanted to focus on himself because he didn't know what it was to like travel and everything. Right. So went our separate ways, started walking, lost a good chunk of weight, started eating healthier, and then it got to the point where I was just like, you know what? Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, of course. Go for
I said,
it.
fuck it, and with $200 in my pocket, I moved to Phoenix, and like the rest is history.
You've been here ever since.
Right? I think this year will be like my 6th year in Phoenix, and this will be the 3rd business that I've helped start up.
Oh, the one you're currently helping out right now? Oh, wow.
So I have helped Athleta in the Carolyn Commons open up. That was the first ever in Arizona. I've helped True Fusion Scottsdale open up. That was the first one. And I'm noticing this trend, like I'm helping these places open up.
Right.
And now I currently work for Bodcore, and I'm like an image consultant for them. So it's kind of like working up the ladder of, okay, working for a corporation, but there's entrepreneurial skill sets within that, and then now, granted, I'm working for an owner, but it's this type of sales that it's all on me.
Right.
I'm like literally like one step away from being a standalone entrepreneur. So I'm just like, shit, this is a lot. But experience is like one of the greatest teachers ever, so I'm totally down for that.
That's awesome. You have an amazing life story.
I know.
And then going back to the topic of how... Oh, wait, sorry. I didn't even mention what the topic was. I'm sorry. Like, horrible organization skills here. Okay. So the topic of today's episode is how modern millennial women can grow their social media followings.
Yep.
Now, when did you, like, well, I'm sure, like, we all got onto social media when it all came out. Mm-hmm. But, like, as far as, like, Instagram, what at what point in that whole story that you told us did you get on Instagram?
It was when I moved out here to Phoenix, because one of my friends actually introduced me to it. So, 6 years ago? So, 2013. Okay.
My earliest memory of Instagram was when I used to work at the Barnes & Noble Cafe back at Metro Center. Sure, that's Metro Center, that old mall. But, yeah, I just noticed, like, she would always, like, well, I guess, like, I had Facebook at the time, and she would, like, post her Instagram posts on Facebook, and I had no idea, what is this Instagram? And they were always, like, artsy, fartsy kind of photos that would end up on Facebook, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is, because at the time, I don't even think I had it. Oh, yeah, I didn't have an iPhone or a smartphone of any kind. So, like, at that time, you had to have it. Well, I guess even now, you need a smartphone to have Instagram, right?
Yeah, I was just like, maybe you could access it off of the desktop, and it was just like, no, you can look at it, but you can't upload anything.
Right.
You need to be mobile with it.
Exactly.
I was just like, this is different from MySpace and Facebook, but okay. It took a minute, because I have this weird bad habit of if anything is too mainstream, I automatically just don't care for it.
The hipster in you.
Rebellious. So when Instagram came about, I'm just like, I was like, let me just fiddle around, because someone was talking to me about it. So I'm like, why not? Same thing with, like, Snapchat. But when everyone, like, went in, I'm realizing, I should have probably have had that same mindset, because then it wouldn't have taken me 4 years to grow my platform.
Right.
It would have probably have been a shorter amount of time if I was actually, like, utilizing it. And then I got to see the transition of pretty much it just being like a photo album, like a digital photo album, to businesses actually utilizing it as a tool, and people that I saw would have like maybe like 1,000 followers are now like in the millions, and I'm like, learn from the book of hard knocks.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't imagine that kind of growth, because like right now I'm sitting at like the 900s. I haven't hit the 1,000 mark yet, but like, how did you feel when you hit like your first 1,000K follower, or sorry, 1,000K, 1K followers?
I wanted more, because I understood that by unlocking certain followings and likes and all this other stuff, like with the algorithm in and of itself, like I had access to more. So having 1,000 was like, ooh, cool, but I was like, what can I do to like get the K? And then now they just show everything. They don't show the K anymore unless like you're probably like in the double digits. Like if you have like 5,265, it's just going to show that whole thing. So I just had like little goals, but the sweet spot is 10K. Because then you get the swipe up feature, and you get all of these things.
Oh, I had no idea. I was wondering how you do that.
You unlock a lot. Same thing with like Facebook. Like you unlock particular things because they're like, obviously you're doing well enough for yourself that maybe this tool will help build you up a little bit more. So if you're having like collaborations or you're being sponsored or whatever, you have that swipe up feature so that you're driving traffic to a particular site and you're driving some monetary value into your pocket.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. I learned so much today. I had no idea. 10K is the magic number.
10K.
Well, speaking of the swipe up feature in the Instagram stories, like I went to this one Gary Vee event here in Phoenix.
I know, he was in town. I was just like, Unk.
He was in town, and then he always has his motivational speeches.
Oh, yes.
So during his little motivational speech at the event, he was like going into Instagram stories. He's like, everybody has to be on Instagram stories. And for those of you who don't know who Gary Vee is, he's like the CEO of VaynerMedia, which is like a social media agency basically. He represents a lot of the top like social media influencers, and then he knows how to grow social media followings. So he's just big on the internet, and he inspires a lot of like content creators, right? Would you say?
Yep, Gary Vaynerchuk.
That's him.
He knows how to maneuver everyone's attention spans. That's pretty. He's like, I want your attention on me, so I'll do what I need to have your attention. Is like that part.
Right. So basically, he teaches like, well, he makes the connection that attention is money, and like you can build a business if you know how to like get attention for your social media, right?
Yep.
So yeah, Gary Vee. But yeah, at the event, he was saying. how everyone needs to do Instagram stories. They need to post multiple times a day, every single day. And would you attest to that as well? Like, Instagram stories are really important for, like, building your following?
Yes. I wouldn't call it a regret. I would honestly say it was more of like a social media lesson.
Mm-hmm.
It took me 4 years to grow that 15K.
4 years?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And so I am highly analytical.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to trial and error things. So I actually was juggling probably 3 accounts.
Oh,
and
wow.
One was for like fitness, one was kind of like an artsy vibe, and then like one I just wanted to kind of fiddle around with if I just did like motivational quotes or whatever, just to figure out what worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you know what, let me just trial and error everything and then just apply and just see what works. Everyone responded really well to my fitness journey.
Oh.
So pretty much went that route. So I started off as Mira Fit.
Ooh,
And I just
kind
of went from there. But I didn't realize that how I labeled myself was how I was branding myself. And I don't want people to come up to me saying, oh, you're Mira Fit. I'm like, I want you to say my name.
Okay.
So I'm just like, branding wise, like, that's me. So for those that are looking to, oh, what do I choose for a name? When people come up to you, what do you want them to say? It's not even just posting every day. It's if you don't post on social media, on the internet or anything, you don't exist.
Right.
So people were talking about me. I remember I cried when a clothing brand reposted one of my photos and I was wearing their top because I was like, oh my god, I'm making it as a social media influencer. Like, it was so awesome. And then I just completely like, oh, let me set this aside because it seems good. Let me go over here. My thing flatlined.
Your personal brand?
My social media on Instagram flatlined. Like,
Aww.
I didn't get as many likes. I didn't, like, get past, like, I was, like, kind of teetering on, like, 15K or 14, and then, like, I saw it beginning to go down. It was, like, 14.8. I was like, what is happening? And I was like, okay, I need to get back into the groove. But I didn't realize that I was going through some internal self-worth issues. I was actually avoiding mirrors and cameras and all of these things because I think I was going through an identity crisis.
Right.
So the thing with social media is you need to be solid in who you are as an individual because that's how you're going to portray yourself on a platform. A picture is literally 1,000 words, but is it the right words? Are you sending the right message? Oh, look at me, look at all that I have, but internally I might feel like shit, and I want people to genuinely ask me, like, hey, are you okay? Right. So it brought up, like, a couple of yellow and red flags that I'm like, okay, I need to do some, like, self-reflecting, and I walked away from that brand, and now stepping into, like, bodcore, and our owner wants us to, like, gung-ho social media, so I'm just like, shit, okay. Getting back into the groove of things and learning how to, like, network and talk to real people versus just, like, on the internet.
Right. My
social media started booming again. And so I think after a long while, because I was teetering, now I officially have 15.4. Cynthia Sassy, granted she's a client, but I've spoken to her before, and just picking her brain, just really putting yourself into the community that you live in, because I'm introverted and I don't like spending time with a lot of people because they just end up kind of sapping all of my energy.
Right.
But she's like, no, if you're actually out in the community, like doing events, networking, getting to know people, that can help too, because you never know who they know. So that has been helping. I've pretty much have clients that are other social media influencers. One gal went from hitting 10,000 last September to now she's creeping up on 40,000. Yep.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, so what's your secret? What worked for you? And she's like, honestly, I just started posting consistently every 1 to 2 days. 3 days is pushing it, but every 1 to 2 days of content that, like, my following wants to see, which is me in cute clothes. So you have to figure out, what do you like? What does your audience like? Are you able to produce? Some people don't care about the aesthetics. Some people do care about the aesthetics, this, and the third, but posting consistently.
Yes.
Yeah. Do not go ghost on your own social media platform, because it takes time to grow that traction back up again.
Right.
Oh my God. And don't even get me started on like the whole Facebook thing. It went from around 800 to then starting being active on there again. Now I'm sitting at 2,200.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I keep getting more follows, more. I'm just like, okay, you guys are becoming a little much. I need to take a break, but I'm just...
You started posting consistently on Facebook? Is that why the number kept
started interacting more.
Oh, okay.
I have a page that has been getting more love because it's already attached to my Instagram. So when I was posting on my Instagram, it connected to my Facebook and boop. More so the page than personal, but for some apparent reason, my personal is doot, 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 doot. But I think once you start accepting friend requests, other people who may be friends with them, you're like, oh, I like your content, and then it becomes more. It could easily go left and become spam, but some people are actually legit. Like, I literally came from a photo shoot to come here from someone that I met off of Facebook. Very professional, very respectful. He let me know right off the bat, like, hey, I'm not trying to, like, do too much or be too personal. I just want to do a photo shoot with you.
Aww.
And he does it for a hobby. And if you saw his gear, you would just like, whoa, you're surrounded by over $10,000 worth of photography gear.
And he does this for fun?
For fun. He did not charge me. I have a CD of probably 500 shots. And he even gave me like advice like, hey, make sure that if you're going to partner up with other photographers, that make sure this clause is in here, this, that, and the third, so that you're not being taken advantage of. Make sure people are being mindful of your time, because that's how they respect. Like, he's dropping all of these hints. An older gentleman. I'm just like, oh, you're not a pervert.
What a relief.
What a relief. I'm like telling people, this is where I am, so if I go missing,
you'll know.
You'll know. But it's amazing that just by posting, that opportunity pops up. Meet him at Starbucks. He has 2 thick portfolios to show me he's legit. He has his release form ready. He's just like, yeah.
So professional.
Social media. And he kept calling me a model. And he's like, no, after today, once you start posting these, other photographers are going to want to work with you. And I'm just like, oh, you're speaking into existence. I'm over here like, how can I become a model? Because I'm so short. I'm 5'3" on a good day. But... yeah.
Don't let that stop you. I just always assumed you were a model, but okay.
I'll happily take. No, all the shots that I had previously, it was me. Just
really?
Nope. This is my official first photo shoot. It was me with like a DSLR camera.
Okay. Just
running back and forth because I didn't have like a little flip screen. I can only go so far because it was such an old DSLR that I had to like push a button and the wire can only go so far.
Oh, wow.
And I had to make sure I was like it was a mess. But I got the shot.
Nice.
So what? I got like maybe 75 shots like by myself, and this guy like over 500. I'm like,
even better.
And high quality stuff. He had like the lighting and everything. It's like,
that's amazing. What a great connection.
I know.
I need to find more people like that on Facebook, right?
It was on Facebook. I didn't really fuck with Facebook like that because I'm just like, old people. Probably because there's a lot of Tucson people on there too, and I just don't care for them. So I'm just like, whatever. But no, that opportunity crept up, and I was like, oh wow. Because he's not on Instagram like that. So I'm grateful that I was able to meet him.
Right. And so he did this to build his own portfolio as well as help you get like nice pictures of yourself as well, right?
Yeah, strictly hobby for him. And he whipped out like this big black box. And he was pretty proud of everything that he has taken thus far. He's been to like Hawaii. He's done so much, and he like would laminate them, and like some would be printed on like a metallic paper, so it had like this iridescent look, especially with photos of like sunsets and such. It just looked like the water was just glistening, and you could just tell that he's just passionate about it. And he's like, yeah, I make enough money, I'm good. I just want to shoot photos. And in my head I'm like, oh, you just want to be surrounded by beautiful girls or something. But granted, he does get to look at beautiful women.
True.
But he shows them just how beautiful they are through his eyes and his lens. So I was just like, it was a beautiful compliment.
Aww.
And I'll admit, I had a couple of insecurity flare-ups throughout the photo shoot. And just to see the photos after like each little session, I was just like, oh wow, I actually look pretty dope.
Oh, nice.
I haven't worked out for a month, but I see the ablets. Like,
nice.
It was so nice. And social media is more than just the whole digital thing. Like, there are some real people behind it, and through social media, you were able to connect. Whereas, like, what, 10 years ago?
Not so much.
Not so much. If
True.
you didn't meet them in person, like, what are the chances? What, AOL AIM?
I know. Some perv.
Right?
Oh man, going into, well, speaking of engagement online, I know. I remember you mentioning this like tip and trick that people use on Instagram. How they will just like all of your photos just to advertise for themselves. That's like, what is there a term for that?
It's a look at me kind of thing.
Okay.
So it could be a business that wants like a follow for follow or a like for like, just to help grow whatever they kind of have going on. If it's a guy, they're probably like, oh yeah, I want to schming and bang that girl. So just be forewarned that you'll probably get like a little hidden DM somewhere here and there. It's in the request. But yeah, some people will get bots, and you can kind of tell because they'll like 3 photos, comment on one, and then follow you.
Right.
And then they try to be sneaky by like having like a time delay. I'm like, we know what you're doing. And then once you follow them, then they'll unfollow you. Like, it's... So that's why I'm very, 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 very mindful of who do I want in my feed. I'm not just going to accept anyone.
Exactly.
Because some people are just like, well, how is it that you could have several thousand followers, but you are only following like a couple hundred? It's because quality over quantity. I want to be inspired when I go through my feed. I don't want like some random blurry thing of like a roller coaster or whatever, and you're like sipping a Slurpee and it's uninspiring.
Not as motivating.
Why?
Kind of random.
So
totally understandable.
Like with life, like there are some platforms that have a type of aesthetic that constantly inspires me. So why are you on social media? Why are you on Instagram? I have a particular eye for like dark, moody profiles. So like I'll search for those, like Frank Have Mercy. Oh my gosh.
What is that?
He is a photographer, but he dabbles in other things. His style of photography, it's like industrial, dark. He is a sneakerhead, so he'll go to like some of these shows and like do photo, like just dark and moody. I'm just like, oh. But I could always like, if I need some inspiration, I'll just go to his stuff and just look it up. But it's not some random Joe Schmo, oh, because he followed me, now I'm going to follow you. No, I'm actually inspired by this individual, and he's providing me a service. You just have to make sure that you're providing content that people actually want to be tuned into. If you just want to grow your following, well, what are you providing? Are you providing a service? Are you providing eye candy? Not necessarily like showing your boobs or anything, but like
good
something
pictures.
That's aesthetically pleasing. Like, what are you providing? It has to be more than you just want to have 30,000 followers just to say that you have 30,000 followers.
Right.
You have to be providing something of value. So if you're pretty much running an ad and trying to drive likes, you can post it in your stories. You can, particularly like run an ad like, hey, view profile, so they click on it. Like they'll like it like, ooh, because of how Instagram is, it looks like a post. It doesn't look like an ad.
Right.
Until it says profile view or view website. Like, usually, something will pop up. And then like, it'll change colors just to like catch your eye. Because, you know, we're constantly like, instant gratification. We see anything that like grabs our attention. So that can help drive traffic to your profile. But again, provide something of value. Right now, I really want like the dark moody look. So anything content-wise that I can pretty much get my hands onto, that's the look that I'm going for. If you were to grow on my feed right now, you would be like, oh, she's all over the place. It's because I'm fucking figuring it out.
Right.
I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I have to figure out what I like too, because when people really scroll through your feed, they see how you've grown as an individual.
They do. I like, even like going back to my own Instagram, like it was my personal Instagram, and it's just like me and a bunch of like family photos or friends photos.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I started learning more about how you can like cultivate like a brand, I started going into like more of like the comedy route, where I was posting more like silly, goofy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was also documenting my like fitness journey as well. And then I was a big like vegan foodie, especially when I was like completely vegan back in the day. Yeah, I just like
PETA.
What's that?
Hashtag
I know,
PETA.
exactly. But yeah, like I feel like I haven't been very consistent with my brand, but I'm also trying to figure it out too. Like what is my brand mainly about? For right now, it's like the comedy thing, but then I'm also like considering maybe I'll go back to the fitness route. I don't know.
Public figure. Done.
Oh, okay.
I had to figure out. You know how I did the trial and error thing? Because I was just like, ooh, fitness junkie or fitness guru. Because I was going to go like a personal training route.
Okay.
But I really like love photography, but I can't really call myself a photographer. But I want to get into motivational speak. Umbrella, I'm a public figure. You're a public figure. Done.
Then you don't have to label yourself all the time.
You're inspiring others to attain their dreams and aspirations. Done.
I like that.
Public figure.
I'm also even considering going back to my full name as my handle. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But yeah, that's kind of like what you end up being known as, whatever your handle is. So that got me thinking. Because it would be nice to just be referred to as like my name rather than some username.
But branding, because again, that's what you're drilling into people's heads. So when they see you, oh, brand. You are your own brand. So how do you want to represent yourself?
Exactly.
So if you do want to do the whole fitness thing or dance in your stilettos, I love videos, by the way.
I do like dance videos too.
She does not care. She's throwing the leg up and everything.
I don't care if I don't have the flexibility. I'll try it.
And then comedy, like you're a public figure, but you're showing like, hey, I'm not just a person that focuses on one thing. I have multiple passions that I'm extremely successful in. So, oh wow, young Asian woman, inspiring other young Asian women. Yeah, she can do multiple things. I could do multiple things. Because that's where they fucked up, like in school. Like they make it seem like you have to focus on one thing. That is not the case. You can aspire and do anything that you want. I forgot who I was listening to as a motivational speaker, but they were saying in life, it was Gary Vee.
Oh.
Wow, hello.
Of course
it took a second. He was mentioning that you can't be half pregnant on all of these projects.
Half pregnant.
You can't be half pregnant on all of these projects. You need to focus on one. He said, because schools are having you focus on only one thing for like the rest of your days that you go to college for, and then you fucking retire and die, like, okay, you only have like one skill set. So if you took like a 10-year-old and they were passionate about wood and carpentry and whatever, okay, they could be passionate and become an expert on that for like 5 to 10 years. And then they change their mind. You know what? I really want to geek out and do graphic design. Okay, focus on that 5 to 10 years. So as time progresses on, they might have changed their passion or point of interest like 5, 8 times. Imagine the skill set. Imagine the whole network / clientele that they've developed by dabbling into all of their passions and met people that share that same passion. Like, you just completely set yourself up for success. You're constantly happy because you pursued anything that you loved at that time. We're human. We're capable of changing our minds. There's nothing wrong with that. So for me, I'm just like, ooh, graphic design, ooh, fitness, ooh, potentially modeling, but I actually want to be in front and behind the camera, like all of these things, and I'm just like, oh, I have to pick one. I don't have to pick one and be done with it. I'm just like, just focus on one for a period of time and be consistent in that,
Mm-hmm.
and then change my mind and let me focus on this. I'm 28. Then you got a good chunk of time to dabble into like maybe like 3 or 4 passions if I really wanted to.
There's so many fun things out there. It's like, how can you just choose one?
Right? But for you, public figure.
Public figure. That is great advice, because then I won't have to change it all the time.
And then you just need to decide, do you want to be known as like Angeli the comedian? Or no, Angeli, is it Mihan?
Oh, Mihan.
Mihan.
Yeah. The thing that like made me consider changing it was because the whole work thing, because I'm still one of those, I'm not a financially free entrepreneur yet. I'm trying to get there.
Keyword yet.
Yet.
Tip the scales.
Exactly. But when I get to, but in the meantime, like, I do need an employer. So I was just like at that time, like, I was also like in between jobs. So I was like applying to jobs with my full name, and I was I know that employers still like do Google searches on potential employers.
How many red solo cup pictures does she have? Is she reputable to the brand?
Exactly. So I just like did that just to kind of hide like my not as suitable for work content. But if I'm working towards building a brand and making my own business, I won't be an employee for much longer. So if I just go at it with that mindset, like, why not have my full name, you know?
Yeah. And also, you're in control of you. Fuck the brand, fuck the business, because obviously they don't coincide with not necessarily like your values, but in the direction that you want to go in.
Right.
So that's why I'm extremely grateful for Bodcore, because I'm able to be the individual that I am, plug whatever I need to plug, but I'm learning everything to stand on my own 2 feet because I see the bigger picture.
Right.
So if you're interviewing for other companies and such, like, are they pertaining or contributing to the bigger picture, or they want you to contribute to their bigger picture? Fuck you and your dreams. Like, it's a give and take.
Good point, though.
Because, sorry to say, True Fusion wanted me to eat, sleep, breathe, do everything True Fusion, and going through a freaking identity crisis, I'm like, this is not it.
Like, they expected your social media following to just be always
I made it a point never to post anything True Fusion on my platform. I kid you not, because I'm the one that was busting my ass to grow that following.
Right.
And then I decided to focus on theirs. How would you feel if you grew your platform for a decade? And someone comes along and is like, well, you work for me, now we tap into your social media.
I've had a job like that. My last job.
Wait, did you feel some type of way?
Yeah, I felt like it was an invasion of my privacy, and like it definitely like crossed that boundary. Like, I like to keep my work life separate from my personal life in certain aspects, and like the fact that I had to use my personal like Facebook and Instagram to recruit people for their organization. Like, I wish they would have let me know that, so that, I don't know, I just felt like it was crossing the line, but that was my job, so I did it.
So they were probably hoping, oh, if she posts on her social media, that will drive. I'm not getting a percentage off of that. Listen, every single person's platform who treats it as a business, everything is either taking away an opportunity for me to earn money, or it's going to generate an income for me. Multiple streams of income. Highly recommend it. For the big top name influencers, especially like triple digit, 1,000-ish, like 315K, that's, give or take, how much they make in a year.
Good question.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Oh, is it? Wait, say it again.
So if, say, an individual had 315,000 followers, that's probably around the same spectrum of what they earn.
Really?
So when you look at their following, that's roughly how much they earn.
Oh, wow. So it's like walking around with your bank account showing.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's why a lot of people are very selective on who they partner up with and do, like, collabs or whatever, who they represent. They're very, very mindful of it. But there's different tiers. This is probably pretty good to know. There's different tiers for social media influencers.
Okay.
Trade. Oh, you send me product and then I'll post it and I get to keep the product. Okay, but who gets paid? The business. You don't get paid.
Because that reels more sales for them.
For them. All in a nutshell, if people are trying to go that whole route of, we'll give you a promo code, and then if you get like 10 sales, then we're going to give you a percentage back, or, oh, we'll send you another free product. At the end of the day, what are you worth? Your perspective, how much are you worth? Listen, for what I want in life, it's fairly expensive, and I'm unashamed to say that. I'm a little high maintenance and like high quality things. It's just what it is. No one wants to shop at Walmart and Target for the rest of their lives. If they do want that for themselves, more power to you, but that's not the lifestyle that I choose for myself.
Right.
So how long am I going to entertain you sending me free product that you've only spent $2 on? Then they view you of, oh, you're only worth $2. You're not worth like a heavy hitter. True. So if Fashion Nova is sending you free product, but paying Kylie Jenner $1 million for one post,
that's not really fair.
Just be mindful about it.
Right.
That's all. And some brands, like, you'll have to build a relationship with. I personally love, like, lounge underwear, and I'm trying to build a rapport with them. Like, I buy their products. I actually modeled it this morning.
Ooh.
Like, I'm trying to build that rapport. Like, I already love your stuff. To be able to be an influencer for you or a brand ambassador or whatever that looks like, it would be a fucking honor because I already love their stuff. Same thing with J Lux Label. Like, I aspire to be in my mid to late 30s, still rocking their shit, exuding sex appeal, but being elegant, sophisticated, and pretty much being a powerhouse, but still expressing myself because I am a sexual human being.
As we all are.
Yeah, right? So, what are you looking for? It's not just like, gimme free stuff because I can't be able to afford it myself. How can you be in a position to be able to afford it?
Right.
Who are you wanting to collaborate? Everyone wants to start a business. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. If you actually went through the process, it weeds out a lot of the weaklings.
True.
So,
not everyone is willing to do, like, the work that it takes.
Nope. So, it's just something to bear in mind if you're trying to actually be an influencer. And what are you influencing? Okay, I'll pay you $500 to eat this gummy bear and say that it grows your hair.
Oh
my God, okay.
If I see another gummy bear hair thing,
right?
It's everywhere. So we talked a lot about Instagram. We kind of dabbled in Facebook. I do know with Facebook they're trying to like go the Netflix route by having their own premium content. I don't know if Facebook Watch is one of them.
Red Table Talk.
Table Talk?
Red Table Talk.
What is that?
With what?
I don't know what that telling me.
Yo, how do you not know about that?
I don't.
Jada Pinkett Smith? Listen, when all of this is said and done, you're going to check it out. You're going to binge watch everything.
Okay.
So she decided to create her own show in her home called Red Table Talk, and they talk about like some heavy nitty gritty stuff. And the Smiths as a whole, you don't really know that much about them.
Right.
But everyone is like, oh my God, you guys are like the new Kardashians because you're actually real. And they delve more so in their lives, the relationships that they have with each other, old friendship, like everything. What's it like to be a stepmom? And they just
go into it.
Oh, yes. They talk about like literally everything under the sun, but they bring in other celebrities. So you get to see their perspective. Like Kid Cudi, I didn't know he was depressed. Really? I didn't know he was addicted to drugs. I didn't know about any of that stuff. And
he talked about that?
He's like, Jada was the number one person that was in my corner supporting me, like trying to pull me out. Jada understood because her mom used to be a drug addict. And we're looking at her like, yo, she got like an 8-pack and she's like in her 60s, 70s. Like, what? So it's that.
And is that a free show on Facebook?
It's a free show on Facebook.
Okay, so Facebook Watch you don't have to pay for. Am I right about that?
Nope.
It's just like
you have to pay for it. It's just content.
Okay.
Facebook is trying to be everything. Why do you think
they're trying to be YouTube, basically?
They're trying to be everything.
Not just YouTube.
Yeah, that's why they bought Instagram. They're trying to be everything. One-stop shop.
So you're always on their website.
Or if it's like a branch off, still Instagram and Facebook. So I know you were talking about like advertising for like Instagram.
Yes.
So when you do it on Facebook, you tap into Facebook and Instagram. Just so you know, if you're trying to run an ad,
right, I've done that
do
before.
it on Facebook so it taps into both platforms versus on Instagram, and it will only show on Instagram.
I've noticed that. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So you just knock it all out if you just go straight to Facebook. Okay, will do.
Yep, there's different things. Be mindful about how much you spend. You can start off small. You can do different areas, like where you feel your audience would pretty much be in. If you got the Skrilla to be able to like broaden your horizon, go for it. Just pay attention to who's responding and this, that, and the third.
Right. So
that you could take that demographic and then apply it to other things whenever you have something going on. It does not mean that you need to go a route of spamming, like, look at me, look at me, look. Desperation is not sexy.
No.
Nope.
So you just want to be strategic about it and not just spammy.
Same thing with hashtags. Strategic. A lot of people don't know with hashtags, you can only post up to 30 at a time.
I didn't know that.
When you tap on hashtag fitness, there's probably millions, if not billions, that pop up. But you still want to include it because you still want to use that fitness hashtag because you're showing that like you're a part of the in crowd, essentially.
Okay.
But if you're like hashtag Scottsdale Fitness 2019 and it only gets like maybe like 1,000 uses from other people, you're tapping into both. The thing is you're showing that you're relevant, but you are trying to have a higher probability of popping up as probably like the top picks on the Explore page.
Okay.
You know when you tap search and all that stuff pops up?
Mosaic of people?
It's because they surpass 1,000, if not 2,500 likes in a timely manner.
Okay.
And it's pertaining to content that you've already interacted with. So when you see it, you know those are like the heavy hitters, and that's your goal, is to pop up. So if I were to search up hashtag fitness, Angelique, you're not going to pop up because you're competing against like millions of other people. But hashtag Scottsdale Fitness 2019, and there's only like 1,000, and everyone's been responding to your content so well, boop, there you are. You're just, hashtags is just like a net. What's the probability of people seeing you in their net?
I have also heard that same advice from, well, you follow her too, Amanda Bucci.
Yep.
She talks about like how your hashtag should be like, do you have an opinion?
No, I've seen her. I've seen a lot of people's journeys, and I see the route that she's going in. It's interesting, but I think she's getting lost in the sauce. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, just like, it just reminded me of what I listened to her podcast, and she did mention like having your hashtags be like more niche, like in the, like, I don't know, like 5 to 6 digit range if you're using like a hashtag. That way you have a more of a likelihood of being just like stumbled upon. Whereas if you use the ones with like 1 million like uses of it, like the more popular ones, like hashtag fitness, like you'll get lost in the sea.
But then you have those hashtags where people are like hashtagging their thoughts, like hashtag oh my god I love pizza, oh my god LOL, Nikki Blackadder does it, Heidi Summers aka Buff Bunny does it, like oh but they're so fun and relevant. What is the probability of me tapping on it and people using that same hashtag? Slim to none.
Right.
But people just think that it's entertaining.
Right, not strategic.
Exactly. So for me, when it comes to like hashtags, same thing kind of like with Facebook, but I feel like a sweet spot for me personally is like 3 to 5 hashtags because I don't want to seem extremely spammy. Whereas on Instagram, I in my notes have paragraphs. So
you just copy and paste.
Yep. So I'll have like a theme. So one will be like lifestyle hashtags. One will be fitness hashtags. One could be like vegan foodie hashtags. But I just generate like clusters or paragraphs of hashtags pertaining to anything that I may be posting. So if it's kind of like a leg day, okay, I'm going to go in my fitness fitness hashtags, and then I'm going to look for something pertaining to like, leg day or hashtag hump day or anything along those lines, highlight it, copy it, paste it into my comments, and then kind of let it fly. You know how I told you I was highly analytical? Back in the day, before they changed the algorithm, you could post your first 30 hashtags.
Okay.
Get all the traction from it. Once it starts slowing down, you delete those hashtags. You paste a fresh set of hashtags, and then all the interaction starts again.
And you can't do that anymore?
Nope, they took that feature away. Yep, but yeah, told you. Like, I geeked out on stuff like that. So I'm just like, ooh, what do you guys do now?
Yeah.
So now you have to be posting on your feed, on your story. You have to be going live. A lot of people do not feel comfortable going live, and I did a 100 live challenge.
Oh,
and
wow.
so like,
you did?
I did.
Oh, wow.
So Kenyatta Banks actually introduced it to me because someone challenged him.
I think it was
Jen Gallagher. She challenged him. He challenged me. He was just kind of just talking off the cuff, and I decided to do a theme of 100 lessons learned.
Ooh.
And then he adopted it, but everyone thinks he's this freaking genius. It was me! I did it! Yeah.
Now that we've talked about Instagram, now that we talked about Facebook, let's go into YouTube. Now, YouTube is the second largest search engine after Google, so it's a great way for people to stumble upon your content. I know a lot of like businesses or like online entrepreneurs use it to like give free advice, like offer value first through their YouTube videos. And then at the end, they like plug their website. It's just like a lead generator, basically. So I'm starting to learn a lot about that. So I definitely can see how useful YouTube can be for growing like your business as well as like your following. Yeah. Do you have what's your experience with YouTube?
First, did anyone ever make that connection that Facebook bought Instagram and Google owns YouTube?
True.
It's a freaking, and they're competing against each other.
Oh, wow. I forgot that Google did buy YouTube. No wonder they're the second largest.
Google's smart, yo. When it comes to YouTube, I actually started a YouTube channel, and then I did a podcast on there. I learned from the Book of Hard Knocks, and because I was uploading from my phone, I wasn't taking the necessary steps because YouTube, because of the amount of oversaturation of influencers, they started cracking down, especially if you wanted your content to be monetized. So in a matter of 2 weeks, I got 2 strikes.
What?
Yep.
From uploading from your phone?
Because I didn't know. People know what they know, people don't know what they don't know. I didn't know you weren't allowed to use a hashtag in your caption. That was my strike 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like the little general information, I accidentally used a hashtag in there. You're not supposed to, so 1 strike.
Okay.
Second strike was because I uploaded from my phone and I didn't choose like the categories of like who I wanted to tap into, tags, all of that stuff, they viewed it as spam.
Oh, wow.
And they said if you get a 3rd strike, like your thing gets pulled. And with their strikes, it's on your account. I think I got the strike in September, October, or November.
Okay.
It was one of those 3 months. I just knew that it was lifted towards the end of February. That's how long a strike stays on your account.
Oh my goodness.
And I was so on edge about it. I was like, I'm just not going to post until February. And
which it is now.
Well, this was last February.
Okay, gotcha.
And because I was focusing so much so on another brand's content, I was just like, I'm not going to do the whole YouTube thing. But I'm moving the 28th of this month. So I'm like, I feel like I have a vlogger's heart. Yeah. And I think that, I want to entertain that again.
I can see that.
Yes. And have you heard of Vagabond Youth?
I have not. You've heard a lot of people I've never heard of.
I think you would enjoy her stuff. She has Mondays or mornings with Amy.
Okay.
AM with Amy, something along those lines. But she will be doing her makeup, kind of like a get ready with me, but she's like dropping like some hard factual stuff and like showing some insight and providing like advice like for people that may or may not be experiencing like tough times.
Mm.
So I kind of want to go that route. I'm like, ooh, I would love to do that on Sundays, and so like it can be live like on Monday or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, yeah, I have gone through so much life.
I have a lot of stories to share.
I have more than enough stories to share, but I'm just like, that could be a service to someone, just sharing experiences, sharing the wisdom, and then boop. And I'm a visual person. Like, I will creep up on people on YouTube all day. Instagram,
Same.
what? Like, as a user, I love watching YouTube stuff. Behind the scenes, freaking respect, because learning how to use like a video editor and all, people don't tell you that stuff.
Oh, the software
Yeah.
aspect of it? Yeah.
No
I went to
one
school for it, so it kind of helped me, but like a lot of people like on their own, it's kind of hard to figure out.
It's a mess. So I dabbled in it, trying to find like music that doesn't flag, like all of the, no one talks about stuff like that. Peter McKinnon, he blew up the YouTube space. He was a photographer, but he loves doing like B-roll and stuff, so he'll teach you how to do those things. Some of his stuff I adopted, and I had like nice transitions for some of my vlogs and everything, and I'm just like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, the passion behind that, but then I acknowledged that I was turning it into work, and it wasn't fun for me anymore, especially with like getting those strikes. So I drifted away. And like, as soon as you start losing passion for something,
It's hard to do it.
So just like trying to be mindful on that. I know you were talking about like clickbait.
Yes. Clickbait is another tactic that I know that content creators on YouTube use. So they'll like kind of have a misleading title that makes you think it's about one thing, but then you watch the entire thing and it was nothing about that. Like they'll have like a fake feud between two like really good friends.
Stupid
Pranks like that too. But yeah, a lot of that is just to get you to click on their video, which is kind of not shady, but like I know why they do it because it helps them. It helps them get views. But I know that I don't know. I wouldn't like abuse it like that, but
I would be strategic, honestly.
Strategic.
It wouldn't not necessarily be clickbait. It would be like, oh, this probably would pique your interest to make you want to click on it. Just innocent. But keep your viewers kind of on their toes. Like, you don't want to talk about the thing that you have as a title at the very beginning of your video. Unless that's what you're into, but then they aren't going to stay for a 5-minute long video if you already talked about it in the first minute.
Right.
So keep them guessing. It might be halfway through. It might be towards the end. Like, do they have to watch the whole video for the supporting details to get to what the main topic is that you're going to discuss at the end of the video? Like, you have to keep having their interests, but keep them guessing. Just don't ever do it at the very beginning of your video because then they just click off. When I was briefly doing the influencer route with Firework, that app that I told you about, I learned about humans' attention span.
Very fleeting.
Like, what? You get people's attention within the first 3 seconds. It's extremely impressive if you could hold it for 6 seconds. And if you hold it for more than 9 seconds, you've won.
That's impressive.
And they would give us weekly reports and break it down, like the percentage of like how many people viewed your content, how long you were able to hold their attention, and they give you tips and tricks on how to prolong that with whatever category you are in for Firework. So I was just like, shit. Same thing with like Instagram. Like, it has to be, oh wow, that looks amazing, and you want to interact with it. Have to hold their attention. Same thing with YouTube. Hold their attention, provide something. That's why a lot of like the beauty influencers, they'll say like outlandish things throughout a makeup tutorial, because who wants to watch a 20-minute makeup tutorial of someone else doing their makeup?
Right.
It has to be entertaining. Same thing with like watching other people play video games, and these content creators make millions of dollars.
They do.
They say it's the commentary and what they're doing and all this other stuff, and it's just hilarious. Yeah, entertainment.
Infotainment is another term I've heard. Like, you're still teaching someone something, but you're also being fun about it.
That's if you're actually providing something
Oh,
of value.
Right, like playing video games.
Listen, some people have like really dope tricks, or
Oh.
say like a person can't get past a certain level and they watch someone else and they unlock a different feature or go a different
Okay.
angle that you originally weren't even entertaining.
Okay, so that's one
Yep.
advantage. Oh, I did not know
See?
that. I learned
All the
something.
things.
All the things. All right, so we're approaching the end of this podcast episode. I wish we could go on forever.
I know, right?
So much good information flowing here. But what are like the top 3 takeaways that you'd like people to walk away from this episode as far as like how to grow their social media followings?
Know who you are as an individual
Mm-hmm.
prior to posting anything.
Okay.
Because once you start posting and creating your content and develop a community, it's not even just a following, you're developing a community,
Mm-hmm.
it gets harder and harder and harder to differentiate the mask that you put on versus who you are genuinely.
Right.
So that's one. Second one is know your audience. Know what you like and how to tap into that audience. So it might be you checking out particular hashtags that might coincide with what you're into, or going after other people that have similar content, you're tapping into their community.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of see what's out there and pay attention to what everyone else is doing so that you can tap into that community so that you can develop yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys have to like each other,
Mutual admiration.
right? They're going to show you love because you're providing something that they love.
Right.
Give and
Makes
take.
sense. Makes sense.
Mhm.
And the third thing.
Collaborate with as many people as you can,
Mm-hmm.
and do it genuinely. Don't do it of, oh, you have 20,000 followers, I really want to tap into that. You don't care about the individual person, you care about their following.
Right.
People are going to look right through you.
Mm-hmm.
Some people actually want to build relationships and friendships and collaboration at its finest,
Mhm.
instead of just using people. So
Right.
collaborate with more people and actually genuinely build a relationship with them. Like, this is a collaboration.
Mm-hmm. We know each other.
Yep. How dare you try to tap into my phone? Like, no.
Mhm.
Either they like you and they'll follow you, or
Right.
like they don't. Like, it's up to them.
Mhm.
But at least like we are genuinely like building a relationship, maintaining a friendship, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my top 3.
Great, solid advice. Erica Lee Murray, thank you for being a part of
Yes.
the Leading Lady Lifestyle Podcast, Episode 3, how modern millennial women can grow their social media followings. And speaking of which, how can people find you on social media?
At Erica Lee Murray.
Mm-hmm. That's on Instagram.
ERICA.
Get it right.
Ha.
ERICA. You heard it from her.
Yes.
Follow her. She's
Will.
amazing. Guys, thank you for watching episode 3 of Leading Lady Lifestyle. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. We're on a number of platforms because I got approved for them through the Anchor app. So you can check us out on Anchor. Yay! See you in the next episode. Bye!
Bye.